Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kerri Stewart. I'm a registered dietitian over in the Joe R. Utley Heart Resource Center. My primary focus is heart disease prevention and community outreach. We are really glad to have you this afternoon for a quick, short cooking demonstration of a pumpkin pie hummus recipe. And so a lot of people may have tried hummus at this point. You may know what it is. It's a dip based with chickpeas or garbanzo beans. So those are interchangeable, one and the same there. But this is a sweet take on it. And so it's really nice because it's 5 main ingredients to make this. You do need a food processor. You do need a good way to actually pulverize and blend all of this up to make it nice and creamy. But otherwise, you're good to go. So simple ingredients that you can find easily. You may already have at your house. And then a good way to get in beans, which have so much fiber, lots of great protein. So that's really going to be a satisfying snack or side. And then we're going to serve it with some apple slices and some of the graham crackers that have whole grains in them. So it makes an awesome dip. It's still football season, so perhaps you want to try it out for the Super Bowl as a decently healthy option, but again, with some sweetness in there so that everyone can enjoy it. So we have already rinsed and drained our 1 can of chickpeas. This is what we're going to throw into our food processor first. And then I have this really large can of pumpkin, because we actually did a different cooking demonstration earlier today that used this that used pumpkin as well. So that's why I got the double can, but otherwise you would just want to put in 1 can of pumpkin. So we've got 1 can of chickpeas, 1 can of pumpkin. And so I'm just putting about half of this in here. That looks like about half because I'd already used some of it out of the top there. And then we've got 1/4 of a cup of pure maple syrup. And that's important because some of your knockoff maple syrups are mostly high fructose corn syrup. But if you're getting true maple syrup, then there actually is a bit of minerals that come from it. So a little bit of potassium, a little bit of magnesium that way. Throw that in the sink there. And then we've got a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then we have 2.5 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. And that is it, my friends. This is a great one for adults and kids alike. So I'm just going to put our lid on here and then we're going to blend it up. Here we go. I'm going to grab my spoon here so that I can scrape down the sides in a minute. We do want to look for, sometimes the chickpeas have little shells, little layers that are kind of on the outside. And so we really want all of that to be blended up. Unless, if you're funny about texture, then, or you have children or even adults that maybe don't love their veggies or beans, then maybe you want to blend it a little extra. But if you don't care too much, then you're good. So I'm just I can see some of my pumpkin pie spice up here at the top. If anyone has any questions, this really isn't going to take us long. So go ahead and throw them into the chat. Alexandra is in the back helping me out today. She is our dietitian down at Heart Wellness Program and Cardiac Rehab. All right, so I'm just going to blend this up for, I don't know, maybe 5 more seconds. The texture and consistency look pretty good to me. All right. I think that looks good. All right, so I am going to spoon out my hummus into a bowl here. And I do think that anytime you let some homemade dips and things like that sit for at least a little bit of time, sometimes things only need 30 minutes or so. Other times you may want more. You may want it to sit overnight. Sometimes it enhances the flavor that way. This is no different. So, all right. We've got that beautiful orange color from the pumpkin. And orange foods are incredibly friendly for our immune system. Part of that is due to the carotenoids that are in them. So I'm going to set that to the side, and I'm going to set this off to the side. And then, like I said, I've got apple. I'm just going to cut up some apple slices, and then I'm going to plate some graham crackers on here. And we intentionally are using a variety of different colors because it is colorful cooking at home, but we do eat with our eyes too. And so, believe it or not, you might be surprised at how much more enticing it can be if you just add a little fun to it. So that's all we're doing here. And I'm just going to fan out these apples to be super fancy. I'm not going to use these ones on the end because they're not so flat. We chose to use a sweet apple, so we've got a Fuji here because that also can contribute to the extra sweetness of the hummus in this dish in that way. I don't know, maybe some people would call this playing with your food, but if we can't have a little fun while we're doing it, what fun is that? All right, I'm going to do one more maybe so we can get half of it full of apples. This is just a plain dinner plate. So again, nothing crazy, just got some color. All right. And then got my graham crackers that are made with at least a little bit of whole grain. So better than nothing. You could certainly do all apples or you could do bananas as well if you wanted to focus on just whole foods for your family. So I'm just going to break these into the little. Alexandra said you can smell the pumpkin, which is pretty interesting. You wouldn't normally think of pumpkin as a strong flavor, but here we go. I might do maybe the pumpkin spices. Yeah, cinnamon, nutmeg, all of those are going to be anti-inflammatory as well. We've got our apple, so we've got even more fiber coming from that. Apple is a great source of soluble fiber. And there you have it. So I don't know. That was under 10 minutes. That might be a world record. I'm not sure, especially for a colorful cooking at home. So if anyone has any questions, let us know. Otherwise, please let us know if you try this, and we hope that you enjoy it as much as we do. Again, you saw just how quick and easy this recipe is. Sometimes in this winter, these post-Thanksgiving and holiday months, it's a lot cheaper to get pumpkin too. Not everyone is seeking it out. Or what sometimes I do is if it does pop up on sale during the holidays, I'll grab a couple extra cans, and that way I'll be good to go for a while. But again, this is just a great, really easy appetizer with some cheap ingredients. And if you are looking for another way to use pumpkin pie spice, then you may want to check out another one of our videos we did earlier today, which is a pumpkin pie smoothie. So that's another twist on your non-traditional pumpkin pie as well. Do we have any questions? Nope. It's pretty straightforward. You really can't go wrong. So again, we've got some protein from our chickpeas. We've got fiber and from our pumpkin, as well as our apples. Here, a half a cup of pumpkin is a serving size, and that has 3 grams of fiber. So this is kind of a guilt-free, if you just want to keep eating, go ahead. And this wasn't even all of it. So remember, there's still more in our container there. So it really makes a lot with the 1 can of pumpkin and the 1 can of chickpeas there. Then our vanilla extract and our pumpkin pie spice are going to add sweetness, but it's just natural, so it's okay. But we do need a little something because pumpkin by itself isn't naturally very sweet. The cool thing about canned pumpkin is it's similar to canned tomatoes. So we actually get more nutrients cup for cup in canned tomatoes and canned pumpkin than we do raw. And that's partly because some of the water has evaporated as we've processed these foods down. And that's okay. It's preserving the nutrients. It's concentrating the nutrients in this case. So in that way, processing food isn't necessarily a bad thing. So enjoy your canned pumpkin, enjoy your canned tomatoes, and know that they are very immune friendly. So helping to keep us well and also helping to work toward cancer prevention. So with that being said, that's all we've got for you. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, and we will send out the recipe to you as well as the links for all of the other videos for today, our colorful cooking at home day. So please look for some of our other events upcoming too. We've got a great one in February, a butternut squash and semolina pasta with Deanna Cram, who is a registered nurse from our cath lab. So very heart healthy and friendly coming up to celebrate Heart Month in February. All right. Thank you so much, everybody.